Good morning, y'all. Good morning, and welcome back to Alicia's Crafty Hoplop. It is Friday, y'all. Happy Friday. I know right now, for many people, the days have been leaking into one another, but for many of you, your state's reopened. So we had our first Hobby Lobby haul yesterday, and I have to tell you, it was so joyful for me to watch. It was so joyful. It's a little surreal. It's funny for us in New York because we hit an accidental peak. And I told y'all, right? I knew it was coming. I knew we were going to end up reinfecting ourselves. And it's just because I tell you when I'm out, my once a week outing, when I have to go get groceries, I see that people are not being careful. So and that's why I stay inside the rest of the week. And I tell you all, if it's sunny, I do not go out anywhere. Even if it's my shopping day, I do not go. And that's just because people are just not being thoughtful and they're not thinking. And I don't know if you all saw in the news, but so I live in a neighborhood it used to sort of be the hood, and then it converted over to be like, it's now listed as one of the top 4 places in the world to live, and it's like very hipsterville. But just on the other side of the bridge is a very religious community. And they don't have internet and they don't get the news in the same way that the rest of us do. So they were unaware of how contagious this situation was. Well, they had a funeral on the weekend and it had thousands of people in attendance. And that's just blocks away from where I live. So I can tell you all that our worry here is that people are not taking it seriously enough. And sure enough, we had an announcement this week, and I know many of you saw it because I got text messages from you, that our numbers went back up again. There goes the apex. So we had hit it, we had started to level out, and then we reinfected ourselves. And that is just because people are not wearing face coverings, they're not keeping just enough distance, and they're not adhering to the rules. And if this keeps up, New York is never going to reopen. And this is, I think, our greatest fear. So it's sort of surreal for me to watch the rest of America because, other places have listened. And as a result, their numbers have stabilized. And so other states are starting to reopen. And we're sitting here in New York going, what the heck? I'm very reliant on my medical team because of my illness. But I am starting to wonder that if this does not get under better control, if it is not worth me risking traveling and maybe heading down south, because I'm just concerned, y'all, that we're here in New York. We are going to continue to struggle to figure out how to keep this contained. And it's not that people can't go to work, and it's not the people working who are causing the problems. It's everyone else. So I feel especially for frontline workers because I feel like they're vulnerable because other people are not being responsible. So it's very surreal for your girl here who's sitting here in New York where our numbers just peaked again because we messed up the apex and the rest of the country starting to open. It makes me feel sometimes like I'm living in this very strange apocalyptic environment. Very strange indeed. Very strange indeed. But anyway, on to happier things, like Hobby Lobby. I'm very excited to see Hobby Lobby hauls and Tuesday morning hauls. I have missed it all very much. And like Soleil, I like to touch things. It's not that I'm against online ordering. Clearly, I am not. Y'all see I order things online. It's just there's something wonderful about going into a craft store and being able to actually physically touch things. There is something magical about that. And like Soleil, I miss it a lot. I really do. I want to share something funny with y'all. Do you guys remember? So when we were doing Holy Swappers, this is one of the amazing dangles that Cruz made. And I kept it out because I really liked it. And I wanted to make one for Carmen and maybe something similar for Jellybean. In fact, Jellybean never got my bottle cap things. When I was mailing from Canada and from abroad, some things just never reached people. So, and I had remade her some. And then they didn't get to her. So, but that was right at the start of the coronavirus. So I should have waited and not mailed. That was maybe my mistake. Because we know that a couple of things went missing right at that period. That was when the post office afterwards announced that they were short-staffed and they had brought in casual workers. Yeah, I should have waited, but I didn't. Anyway, I had this out and Cruz sent me some supplies to make these. So I tried making some for Carmen in a clean style and some for Jellybean in a shabby style, and they just wouldn't turn out. And yes, I have trouble with making jewelry because since the last stroke, my hands, it's hard for me to do small things. But I should be able to do this. Like, if I'm determined, I should be able to. But then I noticed something, y'all. I noticed that Cruz closed off the end with 2 beads that she pressed together. So I wrote to her last night. And I'm like, girlie, mine do not turn out right. Like, the ends are messy. Because remember, the last time I learned how to do something like this, y'all, is summer camp. And they just taught you to knot the end. So I was like, what am I doing wrong, Cruz? Why does mine not look like this? Well, Cruz explained there's all these things called jewelry findings, very much like how you would use a clamp. Those little clamps you use when you want to make like a medallion, like a Maggie Holmes medallion with fabric flags? Yeah, there's a clasp that you can buy. Well, I went on and looked at Allie, and I fell down a whole rabbit hole. No wonder my jewelry stuff's not working out. I had no idea that all these different types of clamps were available for the ends of dangles. In fact, they come in all different shapes and sizes and metals, and oh my goodness. So no wonder mine look messy. I don't own the right supplies. So I'm sharing this with you because I don't know if this is new to you. If you make a lot of dangles, it probably isn't. But I've been at this for 2 years now, and I had no idea that the reason my dangles weren't turning out was because I didn't own the right supplies. It's just that simple. All I needed to do was order the right endings, and I didn't know that. So I'm alerting those of you to this in case you too are wondering like why your things aren't quite as neat or as professionally finished. It's because you need the right supplies for that. You need the right supplies. And I'll tell you, on Allie, there's thousands of them. So if you go down that rabbit hole, it's going to take you hours to figure it out. But at least then you'll have a sense of the other types of closures for jewelry making also, not just for dangles. And it'll probably help you better understand why some people's projects look much more professional than others. Now, that said, talking about professionalism, I am in love. I mean, lately I am seeing people using the snap pliers. Oh, I love those snaps on envelopes. I have one here I was looking at. Do I have it handy to share with you? In my birthday mail, I got several people sent me envelopes with the snaps, and I love them. But it means investing in the pliers and the equipment to do it. And so I've been debating, do I want to do that, not want to do it? But I do love the way it looks. And then lately, everyone's been laminating their envelopes. And I gotta tell y'all, at first I didn't buy a laminator. I sent it to other people, just like I sent the sticker maker to other people, but I didn't buy one for myself because I didn't think I was gonna make a lot of, usually you have a laminator for the covers of journals, especially like a traveler's notebook, because you're using it so much. So if you laminate it, it lasts longer, right? So at the time I was like, you're not gonna make enough traveler's notebooks to warrant having a laminator. But now, I like laminated tags, and I really like laminated envelopes. So I am rethinking this whole laminator business. Where would I put it in here? I don't know. I gotta tell you, my husband has this theory. When I'm in a flare-up, I get crazy because I don't like not being able to accomplish things. And he says every time I get into a flare-up, I get into this frenzy of reorganization. And I always laugh at him and say, no, it's not true. Oh yeah? Guess what I did last night? I pulled out all my craft supplies again because I don't like the way I've organized it. And this morning I looked around here and I said, what were you thinking? Now, I'm right to do it. My current system is not working. But did I really need to pull them all out and make this like 2-day cleanup problem for myself? No. So he's right. I do this when I'm frustrated with myself. Here's something I don't share that often. I was born a type A personality. The flare-up situation and living with scleroderma and mixed connective tissue has forced me to be much more chill because either I can fight it or I can accept it. Those are my 2 choices. When I fight it, I waste the little energy I have. So I have learned over time and experience that fighting it is just a mistake. It's like a lose-lose. So I've had to sort of accept my inabilities on certain days. And that, I think that, we all, what do they say? We all have our own sack of rocks to carry, right? And I always say this, no one walks this planet free. So my situation is not unique. Everyone lives with something, y'all. Mine just happens to be scleroderma. That's just my sack of rocks. But I think I was given this illness as a test because I am not naturally patient with myself. I have very high expectations of self. I always have. We don't know why. My mom is not sure why I'm like this. She tells me it's been like this since I was a child, that she did her best to try to counteract that by telling me to just try my best, but that as a kid I wouldn't have it. I just wouldn't hear it. Doing my best wasn't good enough. And she doesn't know where I got that idea from. And I'm not so sure I do either. But scleroderma forces me, right, to have to accept it. It's kind of like the video I made yesterday where I told y'all, my book for Judy is not finished. That kills me, but I have to accept it. I don't have a choice. So it's like this illness is teaching me to be a bit kinder to myself and a little less demanding. And maybe I have this crazy theory that we are all put here and there's a lesson we're supposed to learn. And our job here on this planet is not done until we learn this lesson. And I think my lesson is not being so hard on myself because that's my biggest hurdle in life. And what do? I'm frustrated with my flare-up and my inability to manage. So what do? I pull out every craft supply and give myself a 48-hour challenge that a healthy person would balk at. So clearly, I have not yet learned my own lesson. And tell y'all, I feel like my life sometimes is Groundhog Day. I know the lesson. I know the lesson is I'm supposed to accept that I have to live with this and I can't do everything every minute. And yet, like Groundhog Day, I keep making the same mistake over and over again. Why is that? They say that the definition of insanity is when you know that the outcome won't change and you keep doing it again and again anyway. And so this morning I was like, why did you do this? And I know why I did it. It's because being type A by birth, I can't help it. I want to do everything. And I remember what it was like when I could. And that's one of the biggest challenges about living with an illness, is that if you weren't born with an illness, if you got an illness later in life, you know what you could do before. And each of you who have unfortunately developed some kind of illness, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, 10 years ago, if I'd pulled out all my craft stuff, 2 hours from now it would be put away. 2 hours. Yep. And this will take me 2 full days and I'll be exhausted. So why did I do it? This is the question that I am destined to answer for the rest of my life. I still don't have the answer, y'all. It's like there's some innate part of my personality that just, for good and for bad, it's the same part that doesn't let me give up when things are difficult, right? But it's also the part that does insane things like this when I shouldn't be doing any of this right now. I thought I'd share that all with you because I wonder how many of us living with different ailments struggle with this kind of problem where we know what we used to be able to do, and so we can't help it. We force that expectation on ourselves, even knowing it's not in our best interests. Yeah, let me tell you, it's been a morning of reflection, that's for sure, y'all. On a less serious note, but an exciting one, Buzzin' with V has made the cutest little video. I gotta tell you, she calls it cheesy. I thought it was super fun, V, and I'm gonna put a link to it down below. She and a group of other very talented ladies are about to launch a 9-day collaboration, and folks, you should check it out. First of all, just go see V's video, and I love that she calls it Buzzin' with V videos. V, very cool, very nicely branded. From a previous creative director's position, I didn't think your video was cheesy at all. I thought it was actually very well done. So just for the funness of that video, go and take a look at the link that I'm going to put in the comment section down below, but also check out this collab. These are, if you like Maggie makers or you like clean crafting, this is a really fabulous collaboration. And I also will tell you there's a couple of women in there. They're not new to me. Because they do some really nice Maggie work, I know who they are, but you may not. And you may or you may not, I don't know. But it's definitely worth watching their projects because they're really innovative makers. So I'll put that link to that down below. And if I remember, I will put an end screen. Sometimes, y'all, because, you have to wait till the video finishes processing to add an end screen. Sometimes I forget. And then usually Miss Pat texts me and she lets me know. But I'll be in class by the time this uploads. It is a teaching morning. It's a shorter day. I do finish earlier today. but I will be wiped out today after class. So you probably won't see me again until this evening. I wish for you a happy and crafty day. For those of you who are free to go outside and enjoy your city, please still be safe. Please wash your hands lots. Don't take any chances that you don't need to take, but certainly go and enjoy a romp at Hobby Lobby or Tuesday morning, and please share it with the rest of us, because I gotta tell you, there's nothing more uplifting than, being able to watch your videos right now, especially for those of us still in quarantine. All right, y'all. Wishing you a happy, healthy, and creative Friday. See you later today. Bye for now.